Hi everyone, welcome to Ethernal Realms and welcome to the month ahead astrology reading. Make sure you check your sun, moon, and rising signs for a comprehensive view of the month. Additionally, I would recommend watching the tarot reading of the month ahead to get a different perspective. While you will know the astrology in advance through this session, I will also send you a reminder when the astrological events are near. All you have to do is subscribe, hit the bell, and you will be notified as the events occur through my community page. I occasionally post behind the scenes, meditation guidance, quizzes, and polls, which you can check out for yourself. And it goes without saying that you will be notified when new videos are out, such as other zodiac readings and pick a card tarot readings as well. If you prefer to cut down the guesswork about your month ahead, you can always connect with me via Etsy to get a personalized week-by-week month ahead tarot reading paired with the general astrology. Enough about me, let's talk about you. So let's talk a little bit about the overview of the month first. We have two full moons this month. One on the 1st of August is a full moon in Aquarius, and on the 31st we have a full moon in Pisces. On the 16th, we have a new moon in Leo, so lots of lunar events occurring this month compared to the previous ones. Other interesting things is that Mercury is going to go retrograde in one of its home signs, Virgo, and the shadow period for that is going to start on the 3rd of August, and the retrograde itself occurs on the 23rd of August. The zodiac sign moves from Leo season to Virgo season, also on the 23rd, and Mars is changing signs from Virgo to Libra on the 27th. Apart from that, we have Uranus in Taurus going retrograde as well. And keep in mind, Venus is still retrograde at this time, and so is Neptune, even Saturn. So we have lots of planets going retrograde. Pluto, Saturn, Neptune, and Uranus, Venus as well. Okay, so lots of retros. Okay, let's get into it and see what this means. So on the 1st of August, we have a full moon taking place in your opposite sign of Aquarius. So the moon is over there and the sun is in your sign of Leo. There can be a phase of completion or pivot or release taking place connected with your needs within relationships, your ideologies within them. Also, the type of freedom and liberation that you need from your partners. This can also indicate that they are feeling this need of liberation or wanting to change something regarding your connection. And by relationships, we talk about all of your one-to-one connections. It can be romantic in nature or platonic as well. If you're working in collaboration with business partners, for example, this is also going to fall within the same sector. On the same day, we have a trine aspect, which is a favorable aspect between Mars in Virgo and Jupiter in Taurus. Okay, now Virgo is in your second house of priorities and your values, your finances as well. And by finances, it also talks about your energy resource. So where are you putting in your, time, attention, money, possessions, values, etc. Okay. Now, because it's a favorable aspect, this indicates there can be some bonuses or other benefits that you get through your career or your ambitions, because Taurus is your 10th house, and this can talk about some forward progress connected to that. So it can talk about increments and promotions or some promises for future financial freedom. The next day we have an opposition between Mercury in Virgo and Saturn in Pisces, and Saturn is retrograde at this time. So once again, this brings into focus your 2nd house and 8th house. Now 8th house is connected with investments and shared resources, and this relates to shared spaces or shared finances, joint accounts, taxes as well. But the 8th house also connects with your subconscious or psyche, as well as your fears, insecurities, what you desire to transform in life, and what is more private in nature, such as your vulnerabilities and intimate life. So this can talk about you're looking at planning or organization techniques, or thinking about how you can plan ahead in order to save more, or you're looking at what your priorities are at this time, and you might be restructuring priorities connected with other people. So for example, you and your partner might be discussing that for the long haul, now we need to focus on, bringing in children, or if you already have children, maybe there's different needs that are connected with them. So you need to plan ahead in that regard. Now, with oppositions, it's about finding moderation, a middle ground, and not be swinging too much to the extremes of let's change everything or let's keep to ourselves fully. On the 3rd, Mercury is going to enter the shadow zone, and it is going to go retrograde in the sign of Virgo on the 23rd. So note whatever happens around this time and anything that happens between the 3rd and the 23rd, because these things can be revised or revisited in some way. It doesn't mean you have to overhaul each and everything, but that these ideas need further development, or these conversations need further attention when Mercury does go retrograde. On the 7th, we have the Sun in your sign, Leo, squaring with Jupiter in Taurus, and Taurus is in your 10th house. So it can be that you are shining around this time. I mean, it is still Leo season at this point. So you're shining, and you might have more responsibilities at the workspace or in the way that you come sort of what your goals and ambitions are in life, basically. And this can talk about your relationship with authority figures too. And you might be in an authority position as well. So you might be communicating with other partners or other partakers within your organization or your position, whichever way that you resonate with. And in this case, because it's a benefic planet that's squaring up, this brings about some sort of breakthroughs, but it can be accompanied by additional responsibilities or guidance, mentorship, etc. that you have to do. For example, you're hiring new people, or your company is hiring new people, and now you have to train them, which is an added responsibility, perhaps something you did not sign up for. But if you go about doing these things and carrying out your roles, then you're likely to get some benefits down the line for that. On the 9th, we have another square. Same houses are being activated, but the planets are different. Venus in your sign, which is retrograde, and Uranus in Taurus is present. So there can be some shifts and changes that are happening regarding your goals and ambitions, and also what you want to achieve in life in general. And this is either coming through or having a consequence on the way that you view yourself and how you see reality. So what you find fulfilling, what you find joyful and fortunate for you, that can be shifting and changing anyway. And the changes that you experience in the outer world, they are likely going to create a bit of a stress or a frustration of, I don't know how to exactly make some changes in order to get the fulfillment that I'm looking for. But this is a time of exploration, and squares are all about taking action in certain regards. So paying attention to what your needs are, but at the same time fulfilling or going along with the changes that are already occurring in your outer world, that is going to be necessary at this time. Now, the same day, we have another square between Pluto in Capricorn, which is retrograde, squaring with the North Node in Aries. And the North Node is in Aries in your 9th house, which is about expansion, legal matters, abroad travel, studies, and teaching or mentorship, and also connects with foreign culture. So if you're, connecting with trade or import export, or just you have communication with people who are not from your background, that comes in here. And the North Node being there indicates that there is growth and expansion in that regard. But because of the square with Pluto, this can feel as though you're not ready for it yet, or that you still have some changes and transformations that you would like to make before you get to it. But regardless, it's here right now. And why I say that is because Capricorn is in your 6th house, and 6th house is all about what do you need to do, what is the way that you come to service, your daily routines, lifestyles, work, and actions and mentality and all of that you employ on a day-to-day basis. This can also connect with employees. Okay, if you're in that leadership position and you're hiring people, or your organization is hiring, this can be that you are mentoring and teaching, right? That topic did come up, but this one is more exact or more precise to that explanation. On the next day, we have a favorable aspect happening between Mercury in Virgo in your second house with Jupiter in Taurus in your 10th house. So this talks about financial compensation, perhaps the discussions that you've been having. There are some forward progress over here or some resolution that comes in. This can also talk about you have the time, energy, resource in order to fuel those or focus those onto your goals, ambitions, and the status you want to achieve in life. Jupiter in the 10th house in general is bringing you more notice, luck, and fortune, but this might seem a little bit slow and steady because it's an earth sign and it's at a square aspect to you. But regardless, the changes are happening and you're more likely to see this in a material sense around this time. On the 13th, we have a conjunction between the Sun and Venus in the sign of Leo, and Venus is retrograde. So this talks about having some internal form of clarity of what exactly you're looking for, or at least the path through which you can find more fulfillment in life. This can also talk about what are your relationships to your inner child and your the needs that you have through other relationships you have in your life. And the Sun, basically, wherever it goes, this talks about clarity. So even if Venus is retrograde, there is a point of there's a spotlight that's going on you because it falls in your first house. People might be looking up to you, they're admiring you and all of that for the past actions or benefits that you have provided to others. There is a sense of deep fulfillment and self-love can be arising at this time. On the 16th, we have a new moon in your sign in Leo. So the Sun and the moon are together in your zodiac. But there is a square aspect with Uranus over here. But apart from that square, everything else is quite healing, such as Venus is close by, and also there is a trine with the North Node and another trine with Chiron. These are not yet exact, but they are there in the periphery. That's really helping the tone of this new moon. So keep in mind that there can be some impulsive or erratic decisions and changes that can be brought into focus. And because it's a time of a new moon, it's full of potential. Yes, it's electrifying, it's exciting, and all of that in a positive sense. That's literally what it's talking about. Beneficial breakthroughs where you're able to express yourself very clearly, more creative ideas and inspiration, your work coming to notice even though you're not expecting it, things like that. But on the flip side, it can also talk about naive feelings because it's again a new moon. It lacks a little bit of experience where you think, okay, this is it, this is the breakthrough idea, and I'm just going to put everything, all eggs in one basket. Okay, now keep in mind, Venus is retro. All eggs in one basket is probably not a great idea at this time, but for sure venture into the idea or venture into the self-concept that is, coming up here. Avoid making permanent changes to your physical appearance in any way because again, Venus is retro. But if you want to experiment with temporary styling or other solutions, that is a great idea because you can clearly know whether or not you like this or not. Okay, now the same day we have another beneficial aspect. Mars is going to be trining with Uranus, and Mars is in your second house of Virgo, and Uranus is in your 10th house of career, goals, and ambitions. So this again talks about financial compensation or having the energy and the resource to be able to fuel into something that you're desiring to achieve in your long-term goals. On the 21st, we have another favorable aspect between the Sun in your sign and the North Node in Aries. Now, this talks about future expansion as well. So if you have some type of business or you're involved in an educational or religious or spiritual institution, this talks about having some breakthroughs or expansion in that regard, and it makes you feel more confident about yourself, your belief systems, and your philosophy in general that can just leave you more optimistic and inspired. On the next day, on the 22nd, we have Venus in your sign squaring with Jupiter in Taurus. Venus is retrograde, and this is a classic sign of overcompensation or overindulgence, overpromising, underdelivering, that type of situation. So be watchful of that. Because Venus is retro in your sign, you're likely to miscalculate what exactly of a job or a role is going to be enjoyable for you and where you can invest adequate energy. So, for example, you might think that a certain project is going to take 6 months and you're going to enjoy every part of it. So, you're very excited to take the role or responsibility. But then you later find out that in fact 6 months is not very guaranteed. You're going to take a lot longer, probably, if certain things don't go your way. And also that every part of the job was not told to you, or every part of the project was not known beforehand. So now you're having to discover along the journey. So be careful about how much you're promising. Be tentative about it, or you can just try it out, experiment and all of that, without making any hard promises. But on the flip side, this can be quite nice as well, because this brings about some positive resolutions or positive actions rather, to previous efforts. Okay, now Venus is retro, so things you've done in the past, or the relationships you have cultivated in the past, and the self-concept you are developing internally or in the past, that can lead to some shifts and changes connected to your worldview or your goals and ambitions, which can feel quite liberating in a sense. And after all, both of them are benefic planets, retrograde or not. They are still going to eventually lead you towards something nice or fulfilling. The same day, we have an opposition between Mars in Virgo, your second house, with Neptune in Pisces, who is retrograde in your 8th house. So once again, the discussion of how much am I going to take on and how much are you going to take care of. And this is in the sense of finances, or it can be in like space. This is my room, this is my area, this is the boundary, and beyond that, this is common spaces, etc. So that decision making can come up here, but it's also a time of rebalancing and moderation, or redefining what the limits are, basically. Also, how much are you keeping to yourself, how much are you investing for your future, etc. On the 23rd, we have two things happening. The zodiac season is shifting from your sign to Virgo. So the sun moves into Virgo and the focus moves away from you and into your house of finances, self-worth, priorities, and values. And the same day, Mercury goes retrograde. So this again is talking about re-evaluating or recalculating finances and priorities, and this can be talking about decluttering things that are confusing. So if you have been, there has been some cuts going on in your finances from your bank account, and you are just not aware of it, and it can be like $2 or €2 or whatever, but it is going away every single month. That kind of amounts to a lot. So you might be spotting that just now, even though this has been going on for some time. So now you have to like make some phone calls or send some emails or whatever to figure out what exactly is going on here. Another example I could give you is, you're thinking about an earning opportunity, but it's not yet fully developed. So this would be a very nice time to research and see if it is actually viable for you. On the 25th, we have Mars in Virgo trining with Pluto in Capricorn, and Pluto is retrograde at this time, and this is connected to your 5th house of self-expression, inner childhood, creativity, which is Capricorn, and also Virgo, which is your finances, self-esteem, worth, all of that we've been talking about at great length already, right? So this is indicating that you are fueling your energy towards some alone time, free time, or something that is entertaining and enjoyable for you. This can even mean that you're learning something in a traditional manner, or you're doing some type of like hiking, adventure, walking, something like that, which is more physical in nature, because this is earth signs, and this can either have financial or other physical benefits to you. This can also indicate that you are spending time, your energy and finances on your children. Perhaps they are going through some type of changes internally, and your attention and focus on them is going to be beneficial for you, them, and the relationship you share. On the 27th, we have another opposition. This is between your 2nd house and 8th house again. Sun is in Virgo and Saturn is in Pisces. Saturn is retrograde. Once again, some more conversations or more decisions and focus being put over here. And the resolution is coming soon, by the way, but these conversations are going to be important pivot points, or these thoughts and actions you're taking around this time. The same day, we have Mars moving away from Virgo and into Libra. So the busyness and the activity basically shifts from that financial focus into your community, your local community rather, your siblings and relationships with relatives and siblings. Also, short distance travels and plans, strategies, marketing, advertising, communication, thought process. So lots of things going on there. There can be lots of documents coming in, lots of things to read, or many emails and communication things to send to others, or others are sending to you, and now you have to kind of deal with it. Now, keep in mind that Mars is not very strong in the sign of Libra because it generally rules the opposite sign of Aries, but also is the traditional ruler of Scorpio. But Libra is not really its space. So diplomacy is not really its natural talent, but while in the sign of Libra, it is very passionate about finding peace and collaboration. So you can find the right people that you can work with, or you can put together employees of yours or other people and set them up in teams that really works quite well. They can kind of compensate for each other, and there is a beauty in, opposites attract type of concept when Mars comes to Libra. Okay, on the 29th, we have Uranus in Taurus going retrograde, and this is in your 10th house. So no further unexpected and surprising changes at this time, but rather if you want to make a change, you're going to have to do this yourself, or you're going to have to think it through, and the changes are likely to happen after Uranus goes direct again. So if you're looking to change your job, maybe previous to this situation, you have some things going on there. But if you're looking to make a big change, probably at this time, you're going to have to put in a lot more effort to make that happen. But either way, Mercury retro, Venus retro is not really the ideal time to make such big changes. So it is more important to understand what has happened in the past and how can we let that sink in or reach a point of acceptance, compassion, and understanding. There can still be epiphanies and shifts and changes, but it is likely going to be within the change that has already been made. On the 31st, we finally have that resolution between the financial sectors of your house. We have a full moon in Pisces. So the moon is in Pisces and the sun is in Virgo. So this is a point of completion, pivot, or release, depending on, what exactly is going on for you. And this can talk about, essentially it is quite positive, to be honest, but it can be a little bit isolating because the moon is quite close to Saturn. Okay, so this can be isolating in the sense that you need to change certain things about the relationship dynamic in order to recapture the spark, or you're having to spend some time apart, but that is also kind of increasing your desire to be together. Okay, absence makes the heart grow fonder, something like that. But in a financial sense, it can also be that intuitively you're feeling that maybe this is not the right time, or this is the right time and I need to take action, or whatever the case is. Okay, there is some type of resolution that happens on the 31st. So that's what I have for you. Thank you for being here. I really hope you enjoyed and that the messages help you out throughout the month. Stay tuned for the tarot reading as well. I will be uploading them soon. Make sure you subscribe and hit the bell so you're notified whenever that's up. And if you enjoyed the reading, please do like and comment your thoughts if you have any. It will be really lovely to hear back from you, and it really helps the channel grow as well. I will see you some other time. Until then, take care. Bye.